Welcome to Live with Aaron and Kelly. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez.
And I'm Kelly V. Dolan.
And we want to thank all of you for listening. And we've got a huge show for each and every one of you.
That's right. Later on in the show, we've got Andre Holland, who's going to be in 42 this weekend. Super excited for that.
I can't wait for that.
This is the encore interview presentation because we interviewed him for 1600 Penn. And we also have... Get ready for this. From Hannibal, we have Hettienne Park. We have an interview with her as well.
Yes, at least, well, she's the cop. I don't know what we would do if we interviewed Hannibal himself. And we have next Tracy McMillan from Ready for Love. Before we get to that, how was your week, Kelly?
My week's been great. How about yours?
It was fantastic. I had a fantastic, and I want to do a shout out to the girls over on Blog Talk Radio, Nancy Reed and Lisa Smith. They did a show. It was called How to Be a Rock Star Radio Guest. And, you know, it was interesting because we had some other, people that do interviews, and the question was, how does somebody come on? What's the best way to be prepared?
So she was interviewing you as a host, and the other people on there were hosts as well.
Yes, all radio hosts. And so, what should a guest, like an author or a writer or a musician, when they come on, what should they be prepared to do? Other.
And were you any different than the other hosts? Like, what do they do? What kinds of shows do they host?
I think we do a lot of red carpet and a lot more celebrity. But it was interesting, and you got to check it out. It's on our Facebook and Twitter. We got some great reviews from some people that heard it.
Were you nervous? Because now the tables were turned. You were interviewed,
it's always,
right?
Well, it's like, it's always weird being interviewed.
Yeah.
But when you're helping other people do a better job, I think it's easier that way. So. So great tips. You're going to want to check it out. If you're ever going to be a radio guest, you've got to listen to this podcast.
What would you say is the biggest tip if you're going to be on a radio show?
Know what type of show it is. If it's a fast-paced one, get ready to punch it out, get your points across. If it's a longer one, a lot of online talk radio shows are now out there. You can take your time with it, but know the show format. Otherwise, you're going to sink or swim. One person said, because how there's some guests that take over the show?
Yes.
Don't do that.
Yes. Well, you mean the guest or the host?
The guests. Yeah, the guests take over the show. They keep talking and they don't stop.
We've actually had that a couple of times on our show, but we won't mention who that's been.
But we've got a great interview next with Tracy McMillan. You got to check this out. Ready for Love, Eva Longoria on NBC. Here it is. Welcome to Live with Aaron and Kelly. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez, and we have with us, I've been looking forward to this all week, and I think Kelly was too, so much so that she couldn't make it with us today because I think she thought that I needed the full attention of Tracy. We've got Tracy McMillan from Ready for Love, new on NBC. Tracy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Now, Tracy, you're being defined as a matchmaker, although you've got credits in Mad Men, you've got credits in United States of Terror, Necessary Roughness. Why a matchmaker, especially with Eva Longoria's show?
Well, what's interesting is, usually while I was supposed to be doing my real job, I've always been the person who's kind of like the lady in the village who spends all her time matching people and helping you with your love life. So this is something I've been doing in my workplaces for 10 or 15 years, and all that knowledge came together in my book, Why You're Not Married Yet. And so I'm sort of like the BFF matchmaker. I don't do it for money, but I've been doing it for 10 or 15 years.
Got it. Well, that's awesome. So, you're the best matchmaker out there because you're free. No, I'm just kidding. When it comes... Yeah, when it comes to romance and love, you have some really good quotes. You had one quote, and it was, sometimes romantic is just a code word for dysfunction. Can you explain that?
Well, I think sometimes, people ask me a lot, can you fall in love at first sight? And I'm like, well, let's see, that depends. Because when you fall in love at first sight, or when you're in the throes of a romance, a lot of times what's happening is that you're just sort of, it's like a direct line to the places in your psychology where there's a lot of unconscious stuff going on. So sometimes you see a relationship like, let's say, Chris Brown and Rihanna. They're super in love, but like you can see where it's like a direct line to something in somebody's childhood where something was going on. Now, so that's one set of circumstances. Other people had really great childhood stuff. Yeah, great. Maybe they can fall in love at first sight, run off to Vegas, get married on their first date, and have stay married for 50 years. It just depends on the person.
Now, what do you think, you say in another quote, you say your love life isn't happening to you, you're creating it. Sometimes people think that they're victims of things. They don't realize how much they're putting into it.
Yes. Well, I think, people are, the number one question people ask me is, where do I find somebody? And, where are all the good men? Where are all the good women?
Right.
And I'm saying the search has to start right here, inside you, because there are millions of people out there, and millions of people are getting married every year. The question is, why isn't that happening in your life? And the answer to that question always starts right here, inside. And that's my message.
Now, on this show, are you competing against the other two matchmakers?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a heavy competition. Nobody's going to be, duking it out or anything. But yeah, we
My
kind
girl's
of are
better.
competing. We each have a team of girls for each guy.
Okay.
And we are, it's interesting to see whose philosophy and how those philosophies translate into the dating and falling in love process.
How is your philosophy different that you've seen going through this?
Well, I think my philosophy is very kind of straight talk. It's pretty homespun. And I also have, I don't take money for what I do. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a professional in that sense. I'm more just like your big sister or that lady that that's been through so much. I sort of describe myself as a jailhouse lawyer who's done so much work on her own case. Now she can help you with yours.
Got it. And I mean, you admit very candidly you've been married several times, and out of that, and I believe, are you in love?
Well, it's not several; it's 3.
I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. You're right. 3. So in my head, several's always 3. But you're right. Let me define that. That could be a lot to some people. But out of those 3 times, I guess my question now is: have you found love for yourself?
I am in a long-term committed relationship. Yes.
Congratulations. Now,
but I think it's really important to say that my experience comes from everything I've done right and everything I've done wrong. I think, I have one of my best friends in childhood married her high school sweetheart. I actually know more about relationships than she does. She knows a ton about one relationship, and I know a bunch about a bunch of relationships.
Wow, then I must be like a real expert.
Where I've made mistakes can actually benefit another person. Because you don't have to make the same mistakes I did.
I appreciate that. I completely appreciate that. Well, we want to thank you for taking your time with us. You're going to get a huge following. I see it already following on Twitter and Facebook. What would be one of the main messages you want to give to your followers and those people that want to, know this advice and get better in their relationships?
Well, here's my big message is that love is a spiritual path. Relationships are sometimes I describe it as the most hardcore yoga you will ever do, And I've learned that through my experience. And my mission in life is to help women have better lives, especially their love lives. So I'm just excited for the opportunity to share what I've learned. And if it helps people, great. And if it doesn't, well, that's okay too, But that's really what I've dedicated my life to. And I'm just excited that I'm getting to do it in such a fantastic place because this show has so much heart, every element of it. The matchmakers, the guys, the girls, Bill and Juliana, all the way up to our fairy godmother, Eva. And I just think this show is going to change the way America dates. I
hope so. And I'm looking forward to every episode. Thank you so very much, Tracy, for taking a moment with us.
Thank you.
Aaron, I am so jealous that you got to speak with Tracy. I
Yeah.
wanted to be here for that interview.
No, you didn't. You wanted me to get as much help as I could.
Well, actually, that is the truth. Aaron, I'm mad that you didn't ask her for personal advice.
Well, I mean, we didn't have 10 minutes. We had some technical issues at the beginning, and so we got what we could. They only give us a certain amount of time with her. I was disappointed I didn't get to ask some questions I really wanted to ask, but we got what we could.
My vote is if they do another show with her, you should be on it.
Well,
What do you guys think? Actually, I want you guys, everybody who's listening right now, I want you to tweet Kelly V. Dolan or Aaron M. Sanchez. That's right. If you are listening, I want you to pull your car over. Do not text or do not get on your phone while you're driving. If you are in your car driving right now, pull over. If you're listening at home, I want you to get on your computer, tweet. No, this is serious. This is so serious. Am I right, cameraman Jose Luis? I think Aaron M. Sanchez should be on a show getting advice from Tracy.
Okay, as long as we can see Kelly V. Dolan on the same show,
No,
that would be
I'm
fantastic.
fine.
See,
I'm totally fine.
Oh, I'm okay.
I'm all good.
I'm all good, huh? Oh, okay.
I am.
Well, let's see. Well, how good are? Oh, really?
I'm fine.
Hey, ready for love? Ready for love? Go hashtag that on Twitter. I saw it this week. Again, this interview was earlier on in the week, the day of, and I wish I had seen the show because, we couldn't because it premiered that night.
Yeah.
But what a great show, Ready for Love. I applaud Eva Longoria for that. She's getting some bashing from the community because,
Why?
because you have a Latina woman doing another dating show and you've got women competing against each other to try to get the man's love.
Shout out to Eva.
That's what I say.
I think we need to see more women producers, writers, directors behind the camera. And you said it was helpful, right?
Absolutely.
So why not?
Yeah,
Why
you
not?
learn something from these matchmakers, and her and the other two matchmakers really pull it together with the women and really let them know what they're doing wrong.
It seems like it's a little bit better than the Bachelorette, where you've got like one guy and 20-some girls, or you've got one girl and 20 guys.
And they don't get any
right?
help. Yeah, they don't get any help as to what they're doing wrong or what they could do better if they really want him. So I like it. It's a different spin, and I'm going to watch it every Tuesday.
There, right?
There's three guys, but they highlight one guy per 2-hour episode. So the first one, he's a musician, and they highlight him. So
Aaron, please, seriously, people listening, watching, please tweet. I'm not kidding you. Tweet and Facebook Kelly V. Dolan. And if you want, Aaron M. Sanchez on this matter. I'm going to try to hit Tracy up. I'm going to hit up the producers and I'm going to see if I can get you on this show.
Sure, yeah, let's see that. Let's see that happen.
I think, watch out, Trump. I think the ratings would be better than Celebrity Apprentice. And you know how much I'm loving that right now. Have you been watching it?
I have. Celebrity Apprentice is awesome.
Omarosa's off. Can you believe it?
Yes! Congratulations,
I'm not
Omarosa.
saying that.
I am.
Okay, who are you rooting for? Don't say who I'm rooting for. Don't you dare.
Brandy Roderick.
That's who you're rooting for?
Yeah, Brandy Roderick's awesome in that.
You do it because she's hot.
That too. Why not?
I'm rooting for Little John.
You're Little John? Okay.
I think Trace Atkins, I think he has a really good shot. People like him, and he gets a lot of money, dineros.
Yeah.
But I'm a Little John fan.
Well, I am a not so much a Hannibal fan, but yet we have Hannibal.
Yes, we do.
We have from the show coming up in our next segment. You're not going to want to miss this interview Kelly has. It's great.
Yes, it was scary at first because I'm a little scared of Hannibal. Every time the little trailer comes on for it, I get a little nervous. But Hettienne Park, she was adorable. We talked about dirty martinis and pole dancing and all kinds of stuff. More when we get back from our break. Stay tuned.
Everybody get down like that. Everybody get down like that. If you like it, then make it clap. If you like it, then make it clap. Turn it up, break loose, get loud. We are young, don't tell us how. We should go on living now. Break the rules, let's tear it down. Everybody get down like that. Everybody get down like that. If you like it, then make it clap. If you like it, then make
Welcome to Live with Aaron and Kelly. I'm Kelly V. Dolan, and it's what you've been waiting for or maybe a little scared about. We have Hettienne Park from NBC's Hannibal on the line. Are you there, Hettienne?
I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning. Now, are you in Los Angeles, or where are you at right now?
I'm in New York City.
So, okay, so I'm up a little bit earlier than you are, being on the West Coast.
Definitely are.
Okay, now before we jump into this interview, I have to ask you, because a lot of people have been tweeting and Facebooking. The biggest question that they have for you is, what is your favorite meal? Because we know what Hannibal's favorite meal is.
What's my personal favorite meal?
Yes.
I'd have to say a big, juicy cheeseburger.
Oh, really?
With a dirty martini on the side and some olives, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay. Let me just say, I feel really ashamed. I'm a grown woman, and I recently had a dirty martini for the first time. They are fantastic.
Yeah, and they will knock you off your butt.
Speaking of being knocked off your butt, I went to your Twitter recently, and you're kind of a jack of all trades, or Jane of all trades, should I say? An actress, a writer, musician, and pole dancer. Pole dancer, honey. Can you explain?
That might have been a little bit of hyperbole for comedic effect, but I have taken pole dancing classes because it's a pretty fun workout. I have a hard time just running on a treadmill.
Yeah.
I'm not really that disciplined, and there's something about having permission to be a little bit dirty and get a good workout out of it that I'm into.
There we go.
But I'm not. I mean, I don't really have much experience being a lumberjack. So I think that's on there
I was
too.
just gonna get. That was my next question, because you also have that you're a lumberjack as well on your Twitter. So not much experience there. But you know what? It's funny. Some of my girlfriends have actually taken the pole dancing classes, and they say it's a great workout. They love it. So I think that's cool. But I know a lot of our Facebook and Twitter fans also want to know, what has it been like working on the set of Hannibal?
It's been so much fun. I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, I get to hang out with this great cast. We have Hugh Dancy, Mads Mikkelsen, Lawrence Fishburne, Scott Thompson, Aaron Abrams, Caroline DeVernas. These guys are supremely talented and a lot of fun. And I get to do stuff like work in a lab. I get to drive cars really fast. I get to, take down bad guys. It's pretty exciting.
Did you ever think that you would step into a role like this, or what was it about this role that really attracted you to the script and the whole entire project?
I used to dream about playing a role like this, and I never thought it would actually come true. But what attracted me was, Brian Fuller is the guy who created this whole thing, and he's the same guy who's behind Pushing Daisies and Wonderfalls and Dead Like Me. This is a person who he's extremely talented. Yeah. He has a great sense of humor, and he's incredibly bright. And he's created this series, Hannibal, that is the prequel to Red Dragon. So it's the first time we actually meet Hannibal Lecter. Yeah. We have no idea that he's a serial killer. It's the origin of the story. If you're a fan of Sounds of the Lambs, this is the beginning of the beginning. And when I read the script, I really couldn't put it down. It's definitely a page turner, and stylistically, I don't really know how to explain it. It's nothing like I've ever seen before.
Now, are you a fan of thriller, psychological thriller, suspense? Are you a fan of those types of films, or even books?
Well, definitely before I booked the show, Sounds of the Lambs was one of my favorite movies. Uh-huh. I can't say that I'm necessarily a horror fan per se. I think if it's got a great story and great talent, and then on top of it, it's creative.
Yeah.
I don't really care what genre it is. It's exciting to watch.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's funny because I'm not a big on like the horror films, although I think some of them are really great. Suspense, psychological thrillers. Sometimes those grab me a little bit more because the stories are so interesting, and the fact that they're doing the Hannibal. There are so many people that have been waiting for this to come out because they're such fans of the films. Now, what do you think has been the biggest transition, for the producers and everybody involved, taking it from the film aspect and putting it into television? What has been, from your standpoint?
Well, we're in this great position where we've got 13 episodes. Mm-hmm. So unlike a film, you can really flesh out these characters and look at where they're going and see the development of their character. We don't really get to do that in a film that typically is like a couple hours long. We've got 13 hours to do that. Mm-hmm. I think that also stylistically, our director, David Slade, who's kind of at the head of our team, he's really paying such a great... He's referencing a lot to Stanley Kubrick and David Lynch. Mm-hmm. So it's got this really cool vibe to it. It's kind of hard to put into words, but it's a really cool combination of something that's creepy and at the same time sexy. And I know those two things don't often go together, but
it's weird. Well, I mean, it's just the subject matter is weird, but yet interesting in a weird way, right? Like it's just that they do documentaries on serial killers. There's people that tune in all the time. I've actually a couple of times I'll be watching television and it'll come on, Hannibal, and I'm like, I get creeped out. You know what I mean? Just hearing the advertisements for it. So I think they've done a great job as far as keeping the integrity of, the whole image of Hannibal and the legacy that it's already left. Now, really quickly, I hear a little bit of your accent. You're originally from Boston, right?
Yeah, we're outside of Boston, yeah.
We're outside of Boston. And you're also, my cameraman's cheering. We're huge fans of people from Boston in that area. I've never been there, but it's one of my favorite accents. And also, I know that you're also Korean-American actress as well.
Uh-huh.
What is that?
That's great.
Yeah, represent. What has that been for you? A lot of times on our show we talk about the different, ethnic backgrounds as far as getting into the entertainment industry. How has that been for you, being of Korean American descent, getting into the industry? Has there been challenges at all?
Definitely. I mean, when I was growing up, it wasn't like you could turn on the TV or go to the movies and see a ton of people that looked like you. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, it's not like people are constantly writing characters that are intended to be Asian or any minority for that matter. I mean, it's even challenging just to be female in this business, to be honest.
Absolutely.
So it's pretty cool and kind of awesome that these guys were willing to reimagine these characters. I mean, everyone from top to bottom is probably a little bit different than what you've seen before. Mm-hmm. So it's a fresh take on Hannibal for sure.
I just want to applaud them for doing that, because I think that's really important, especially with a lot of young people watching television out there. I think it is really important that we do have a diverse background in our TV and film, just because, like you said, growing up, you kind of identify with who you are as a person and maybe your heritage, how you grew up, and you want to see familiar faces on television and film. So I just want to give you a huge shout out for that, and big shout out to the producers and casting and everybody who took their chances and opened up their, their, how do you say it? They weren't being so... What's the word? Typecast.
They weren't being traditional. Yeah, I totally appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's cool that you even recognize that. I mean, look, we live in a world that's totally diverse.
Absolutely.
And these are people who've got money to spend, who are earning it. So you're going to want to appeal to those people, and
absolutely,
it just makes sense.
Absolutely. Now, I got to go to Facebook because this Michael Fozzie Stewart will be so upset if I don't ask this question. We had a couple of Facebook people that had questions, but Michael Fozzie Stewart wanted to say, does she eat lunch with Mads Mikkelsen? Do you eat lunch with him?
That's really funny. I would love to eat lunch with Mads Mikkelsen. Unfortunately, I don't have a ton of scenes with the guy.
Okay.
But if I were to eat lunch with him, I think I might be a little bit too scared to do it.
Hilarious. One more question before I let you go. We have a lot of young viewers that tune into our show. What's some advice that you can give to them if they want to get into the industry?
Ooh, yeah, it's a rough industry. I mean, it's competitive and it's really easy to get beaten down by the rejection because, you know, you keep putting yourself out there and you keep trying to figure out what is it that they want. And you're never going to guess what they want. And what they want is for you to bring your own take to it. So, you know, if you're trying to go out for something that's funny, what makes you laugh? You know, if you're trying to go for something that's moving, what moves you? And you gotta bring your own take to it, and that's what's gonna make you successful. The other really cool thing, I mean, I don't mean to bring it back to the show, but one really cool thing that I found out about the show, which I didn't even realize they were doing, if you go on the website, they have the actual script for the first episode on their website, and it's really educational to look at the script and then watch and see how people are interpreting what the stage directions are, what their lines are, what their characters are. I think stuff like that's really valuable. You just got to keep getting yourself out there, and you got to stay true to yourself. And all those voices and all the people in your life that are being negative, you know, you have to find a way to be immune to that stuff and just follow your heart.
Well, that's good advice. Well, we're glad that you followed your heart, and we are so happy that you booked this. We're so happy to see you on Hannibal every single Thursday at 10 p.m. We'll be watching tonight as well. Thanks so much, Hettienne.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
All right, you too. Talk to you later.
Wow. Hannibal. First of all, I give you kudos just for doing that interview.
You know what? I give myself kudos for doing that interview. Everybody who knows me knows that I freak out over like horror films or why are you doing that?
Why am I smelling you? Because you smell wonderfully tasty. No.
Oh gosh, now I'm really scared. No, I'm not a big fan of scary movies. Some suspense I like. I don't mind acting in them. I'm not saying that. But watching them or even just hearing the trailers or the promos, I get freaked out. I'm not a big fan. But I'm glad I got to interview her. She's a smart girl. She's fun. We talked a little bit about the dirty martini. So we
and the pole dancing. I like that part.
So I think she's a fun girl. I think she's super intelligent. And I do think there is a draw to characters and minds that think in this way, although it is a very twisted way that these people are, these serial killers.
Right. Well, I mean, this, like you mentioned, the movie did well. Anthony Hopkins,
Absolutely.
Did a great job. I don't know. Would that movie have been as good as it was without him if it would have been with somebody different? I don't know.
It's just hard to say. He's so good. He's good in everything he does, you
right,
know? So
right.
I don't know too many actors across the board that can handle something like that.
But Mads Mikkelsen totally gets it, and I don't know that I could. Imagine if we had him on this show. I don't know if I could be in the same room with him.
I know. I couldn't.
I'd be like, "Are you a method actor?" Because then, if he is, then you really can't be around him after that.
I would be sitting behind you, like, Aaron, help
right?
me.
Well, when we get back, we've got a replay.
Yes, we've got an encore presentation. 42 is coming out this weekend, and we're super excited. What a great story! I actually had a couple of friends that went to the premiere, and they had great things to say about this film. But we had actor Andre Holland from 1600 Penn on our show, and he's actually in the film. So when we get back, we're going to give you guys an encore presentation of the interview.
Stay tuned.
Everybody get down like that. Everybody get down like that. If you like it, then make it clap. If you like it, then make it clap. Turn it up, break loose, get loud. We are young, don't tell us how. We should go on.